Good morning. This is Timothy Milquetoast with ANN, January 2nd, 1859. In looking for obstacles in the road to the abolition of slavery, we found one man, one company that certainly makes such a profit in the slave trade business that it makes the idea of abolishing slavery seem ridiculous and preposterous. Welcome to our program, Mr. Issac Franklin of Franklin and Armfield of Alexandria, Virginia.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to be here. In fact, I brought you a little present.
Really?
Now, these are Red Horse cigars from the Dominican Republic, hand-rolled by the slave laborers.
Well, I appreciate the offer, sir, but there is no smoking here, and I think I'll pass.
Well, do you mind if I partake myself?
I'd rather you didn't.
All right, I'm used to a little bit of tobacco taste, okay?
Yes. Mr. Franklin, let's start at the beginning of your business. Tell us about the slave ships from Africa. Is that something that's going to discontinue?
Well, yes, the Constitution banned legal slavery in 1808, but that's when smuggling became a profitable enterprise. Why, last year alone, 10,000 slaves were imported to New Orleans. And Senator Stephen Douglas, well, he told me that 15,000 slaves were imported, and 85 vessels sailed from New York to be in the trade.
What does a slave ship owner make per shipment?
Why, slave ship owners make fortunes. Well, see, they consider this. They pack a ship.
There is no smoking in this studio.
Consider this. Say they pack a ship full, say, 475 slaves, which they buy from African chiefs and kidnappers for $10 each. And then they turn around and sell them to a firm like ours for $300. Well, right there, they got a profit of $290 times 475. Now, since I knew we were having this conversation, I was doing some calculating. Now, I don't keep any records, you understand. But I came up with a figure that it comes to about $137,750 per shipment for the ship owner. Why, even if they have to throw a third overboard because they're sick or dying, they still probably make a net profit of $92,000.
I see. Now tell us about your company. What does it do exactly?
Well, our company, Franklin and Armfield, we are the biggest firm for importing domestic slaves in the USA. While we have markets in Natchez, Mississippi, New Orleans, and all the way west as Texas. Now, my partner, Mr. Armfield, he runs the Alexandria plant, and it's got 2 stockades for men and women, eating quarters, and even a hospital. Now, I run the Southwest markets all the way to Dallas. It's a good, steady business. Yes, sir. Why, I've got a friend in Memphis, a Mr. Nathan Bedford Forrest. He's been making, I think it's around $96,000 a year since 1850.
Well, I received this photograph with a note
Photograph?
attached- Yes, with a note attached from a teacher and author. I'd like to show this photograph to the audience. Gonna get a close-up of that? Thank you. Now, could you tell us something about this? Is this really the way this place looks?
Sir, that is grossly exaggerated, grossly exaggerated. Why, those pens are cleaned out once a week by the slave laborers we have.
I see. Well,
Well, I just can't help it if they don't have any decency.
may I read the note that's attached?
If you have to, yes, sir.
Memo to the Abolition News Network. I toured Franklin and Armfield in 1835, then the largest slave trading company in the nation. And this is what I found. The high whitewashed brick walls gave the impression of a prison. There were two large fenced yards. The one had about 60 to 70 black men laying around half asleep. The other one had about 30 to 40 black women from 18 to 35 years old. They all looked unwashed. Flies were buzzing around everywhere. I took this photograph secretly. The whole place was filthy. Enclosures were more suitable for farm animals, which were never cleaned. So, what else do you have to say about this, Mr. Franklin?
Like I said, that is just grossly exaggerated. You know, I don't know who took that picture, but I don't think it was from my firm.
Well, I guess you don't want to give up trading, not smoking. Okay, let's go on. How much can a slave trader make? He's kind of like a salesman in your business, right?
Right you are, sir. Why, a good slave trader can make up to $1,500 a week. And that comes to about, I'd say, $78,000 a year. Now, you know, consider that.
There is no smoking in the studio.
Sorry. Oh, Mrs. Throbbins, you are just full of salt and vinegar. What would you say if I wrap this little ruby bauble around your tiny little finger, cutie pie? I could make you the richest woman in the USA. What do you say, cutie pie?
I am not your cutie pie. And I would not wear a ring that chains me to a horse's like you and be whipped on my like a slave.
Oh,
Mrs. Robbins, please, go make some hot tea. I'm lost for words.
me too, sir.
It doesn't sound like this industry is just going to quit without a fight because some people don't like it.
Exactly. Why, that would be like trying to abolish the whole workforce of the South. And then what about the cotton industry? It would be destroyed because we rely on slave labor because, you know, the white men, we don't like to do manual labor.
So, in conclusion, give us a ballpark estimate of how much your whole industry made last year.
Well, like I told you, sir, I don't keep any records, but you seem like a nice Southern gentleman, so I'll give you a rough idea. I'd say that in the decade that we are living in, the 1850s, we have turned over around 80,000 slaves at a profit of $59 million. Consider this, you know, that averages out to about $738 a slave. Now consider this, sir.
I told you there is no smoking in the studio. Do you have a hearing deficiency or are you just deaf?
Consider this. The business of the American people is business.
Mrs. Robbins, calm down. I guess slavery is here to stay. That is really a fortune to make in slave trade. Well, thank you, Mr. Issac Franklin, for opening our eyes to the real capitalism in the slave business. This is Timothy Milquetoast for ANN saying we'll be back after this break.